Hello and welcome. This is Rooflemonger, my friends. It's that time of year again. The Game Awards 2025 is coming up. As of the time I'm making this video, it's going to be a week and change till the next Game Awards. That'll be December the 11th. And the Game Awards, and well, all the Geoff Keighley events like Summer Game Fest as well, they've always been pretty good to fighting games as a whole. So, of course, it leaves you to wonder, well, what about this year? What's going to happen this year? And potentially, maybe a good amount. We already got a lot of hubbub and speculation if you haven't seen it online. Like this big mystery monument they built in the desert for the Game Awards, and everyone's wondering what it is. And apparently, it's not God of War, and it is not Diablo. And given how weird and spooky it is, it'd probably be a pretty weird way to announce the next Fatal Fury DLC. So who knows, we'll see when we get there. As for the awards part of the Game Awards, we already made a video about the fighting game category being a little bit odd this year. And for just awards in general, expect Clair Obscur Expedition 33 to rightfully and deservedly sweep just about every category. It's the game of the year, there's no arguing it. And for the people who do argue it, well, don't catch me on Twitter, because I've been known to get some people riled up about that. But let's talk fighting games. So I think it's very likely for some games to make an appearance, and for other ones, maybe probably not. Like, take something like a 2X KO. We know there's more stuff coming. We have another character soon-ish. Whenever Season 1, the proper launch of the game happens, sometime I'm assuming early next year. But is that going to be here? No, not really. Riot just sort of does their own thing. Riot doesn't even show 2XKO stuff at EVO, so they're probably not going to do nothing at the Game Awards. How about something like an Invincible Versus? That'd be fun, that'd be cool, but realistically, it is a smaller scale game. And to get a trailer at the Game Awards, if you don't remember the lore, it costs about $250,000 to $500,000 American dollars. So for the smaller scale titles, unless you get the pass from Geoff Keighley, probably not as likely for them to appear. So you need the companies that can pay to play, right? And, well, SNK is definitely one of those. SNK is very frequently at the Geoff Keighley events, and they're sort of primed to do whatever they want to do. You may recall that Mr. Big will be launching pretty soon on December the 9th, which is before the Game Awards, and Mr. Big got moved up ahead of schedule. Originally, he was going to be next year sometime, early next year, but still next year. Now, well, he's out before the Game Awards is even going to air, so it certainly clears the plate, clears your schedule. As for what SNK does, it could be a myriad of things. It could be a teaser for a Season 2 of Fatal Fury with like a whole bunch of new characters. We know they're working on a new Art of Fighting. They gotta debut that at some point. We know they've been working on a new Samurai Showdown as well. There's a lot of games in the tank, and there's probably stuff in the tank we don't even know about because SNK has been expanding a great deal in recent times. Last year, they opened a new development studio in Singapore, and in September of this year, they opened an all-new studio in Tokyo. I think a lot of people don't appreciate just how big SNK's been getting lately. But something out of SNK, whatever it's gonna be, just feels likely at the Game Awards. They are frequently at the Geoff Keighley events. This year, I expect much the same. So, we'll see what it is. Hopefully, whatever it is cool. And speaking of people who love the Geoff Keighley events, Capcom will naturally be at the Game Awards. Now, what's the most likely scenario is something new Resident Evil. It was announced at a Geoff Keighley event at Summer Game Fest earlier this year, and it's going to be out, I believe, at the end of February, so like one last big trailer, one last big thing, makes sense. But what about fighting games? For Street Fighter 6 specifically, I would love there to be something, but will there be? We talked about it in the recent video on the channel, but the earliest Alex, our next DLC character, comes out is like closer to the end of March. So is December the time to show the trailer for him? I don't know, especially if that trailer cost you $250,000. There certainly could be a surprise. That'd be nice. Like a costume trailer, though. They're not going to burn a costume trailer on the Game Awards. This is your, mass market, broad appeal event. And costumes for a fighting game are certainly a lot more niche. So for Street Fighter 6, it's maybe you do a teaser for Alex when you tie it to something else. I don't know. Like maybe at the pre-show where running trailers is less expensive and fighting games, they're MVPs at the pre-shows because it's cheaper. But then again, Capcom, a lot of their heavy hitters, they are out or coming out. Monster Hunter is old news now, right? And Resident Evil is out early next year. So they're obviously working on more things. So maybe not Street Fighter, but maybe something else. We've talked about it in the past, but a new Capcom versus SNK game, for example, is inevitable. It's happening. It's just a matter of who exactly is making it. Now, for my money, I actually think it'd be more likely to be SNK. They're more agile in that way, but it very well could be a Capcom. And something like that would be a big deal. That is something you would reveal at the Game Awards. I know some people still hold up against hope that there will be a new Marvel versus Capcom despite the existence of Marvel Tokon. But hell, if there is a new Marvel versus Capcom, this would be the place for it. I honestly don't think so, but hey, stranger things have happened, I suppose. But going back to Street Fighter, whatever Street Fighter is going to do next will be at a Geoff Keighley event, but the big Season 2 reveal, that was at the Summer Game Fest. The big Season 3 reveal, that was at the Summer Game Fest. I don't think they'll be announcing a Season 4 reveal ahead of Alex and Ingrid even coming out here in December. Rest assured, Capcom's got something. They always got something. They deal in big hits, right? But what will they have? Honestly, that's a bit of a mystery. It doesn't seem like there's any sure bets here, but I guess we'll wait and see. Now, since we mentioned it, actually, let's talk about Marvel Tokon. Now, normally Marvel Tokon's kind of only been hitting like the PlayStation exclusive events, but this is the Game Awards. This is the biggest event of the year. This is what replaced E3, basically, right? So while it normally exists in state of plays and whatever, this would be a good opportunity for it. Big stage, especially because to this date, since the reveal, we still haven't had any new characters shown for the game. The game was revealed at the beginning of June. It's now December, and we don't know anyone that we didn't already know back at the beginning of June. And this month is kind of big for Marvel in general. The Doomsday trailer will debut later this month. And for my money, I'm gonna watch it. I'm a pig. You put the slop in my trough, I'm gonna go eat it, right? But I don't know if I have any faith in this movie. Fantastic Four is my favorite Marvel property. Doom is my favorite Marvel character. And Doom doesn't even know who the Fantastic Four are going into this movie. Other than that little nothing bit at the end of the Fantastic Four movie. I don't know. I just hope it's good. We'll see. But as far as gaming goes, this is the last greatest stop of the year. So we got the beta happening shortly. This week, in fact, right? And so the week after, Game Awards would be an excellent time. Okay, the beta just happened, and now, here's this, that, and the other character. Get everyone hyped for its launch, which will be next year. Seems like a great opportunity for Tokon. It's just a matter of, do they take it? I just want to see more characters at a minimum, and this is gonna be the best place for it. Now, another very big game to take into consideration is Tekken 8. So Miarizu is now out, and basically Tekken 8 Season 2, as far as content for characters and all that DLC, right, is now complete. So we gotta look forward is what's gonna be Season 3. And of course, the big thing more than any character is we hope Season 3 will sort of help get Tekken 8, right, back on the right path, right? Because Lord knows that Season 2 patch did some damage, and then every patch since has been trying to undo that damage. Now, of course, patch notes isn't something you show at the Game Awards, although if any game could ever get away with showing patch notes at the Game Awards, if it was good enough, Tekken 8 probably would be that game. But yeah, DLC, right? Season 3, obviously going to be more characters, and Tekken likes the Game Awards. The big shock reveal of Clive for Tekken 8, that was at the Game Awards, and made a lot of waves, was pretty good PR. I know Tekken doesn't like revealing a whole season ahead of time, right? But it could very well be that the first character of Season 3, whatever form it may take, could be here at the Game Awards, especially if it's some big signature guest character that'll, inflame the imagination. Clive was a pretty good fit for Tekken. He has giant wings and lasers, and a lot of characters in Tekken have wings and lasers. I know a lot of people would love to see Tifa join Tekken. Tekken now has a long history of Final Fantasy characters joining the franchise, right? But Tifa is more of a regular martial artist, so she'll probably be more comfortable in Virtua Fighter. So that's where she should go, to Virtua Fighter. All this lasers and wing stuff, leave that for the freaks. VF is where the real fighters go. Okay, so that trolling aside, it just seems like a good stage to do it, especially because Tekken does announce things like uncomfortably far ahead of when they actually drop. So while it's no certainty right now that the final character of Season 2 has dropped, there is a decent chance we can get a sneak peek of what's to come in the future for Tekken 8. And of course, save the best for last, we got the main event as far as I'm concerned for fighting games at the Game Awards. The game that was announced at last year's Game Awards, being the new Virtua Fighter. Now, I guess a bit of a news item while we're here. So a few days ago on the channel, we talked about a developer interview for the new Virtua Fighter project, and there has since been a follow-up interview where they dropped some salacious quotes. I'll link the article in the video description, keeping in mind it is a Japanese language article, so you might have to do some machine translation, but the gist of what was said is, Virtua Fighter is a game that's going to be made for everyone, not just fighting game fans. And in the context of the Game Awards, they're looking for a game that can be entered for Game of the Year, but not just Fighting Game of the Year. They are looking to make the new Virtua Fighter the full-on, flat-out Game of the Year. So ain't no one gonna accuse them of thinking small on this one. But here's the thing anyways, as far as the Game Award goes, right? So we have the trailer that aired here at the Game Awards last year. That was really good. I was very happy. In fact, let's look at Rooflemonger from last year. Yeah! Fucking right! Told y'all! Yes! To be fair, I really needed that boost. That is also the same day the channel got hacked. So I experienced in the same day an extreme emotional low and an extreme emotional high. It was quite the day. But for VF, despite being a year ago, that footage and this footage here, which I've shown so many times, but there's nothing else to show because this is all there is, has been all there is for a year. Like, there was the Tokyo Game Show stage presentation, which they did hype up, and that was sort of a big fat nothing. Like, they even got Tokido to be on the stage to help hype the event, right? And all they did was just talk about the trailer we already saw, and talk about some gameplay mechanics that could be, well, frankly, easily inferred just by watching the trailer. Since then, the team issued effectively a sorry, our bad. And we got statements from the producer that the next time you see the new Virtua Fighter, it's going to be the most significant appearance, like, to date. And, well, Game Awards, being the effective 1-year anniversary of the debut of the game, that would definitely be a place to show something of consequence this time. Give us a better hint of what the game will be, what other characters will be in the game, modes, features, whatever. This is the place to do it. And then perhaps like last time, you can hint at a Virtua Fighter Direct where we'll go into more detail. We don't know. I just feel like this is the time and the place, especially as a make good for the Tokyo Game Show event, which was heavily hyped up and then sort of did not pan out the way we hoped. If you want this game to be the game of the year, whatever year it comes out, you got to make some good impressions. So let's start making some good impressions. And besides Virtua Fighter, I actually expect this to be a pretty big year for Sega, just because like we know they have a lot of other projects. They have a new Golden Axe, they have a new Jet Set Radio. I think there's 2 new Jet Set Radio games actually. There's a new Crazy Taxi, Atlas. They gotta announce Persona 6 at some point. Like back before the new Virtua Fighter was announced, I was making videos about the leaks of the new Virtua Fighter, and there was just general Sega leaks, and the same leaks that told us Virtua Fighter was right, and all those leaks were 100% correct, by the way. It also said Persona 6 has been done for a long time, and they've sort of just been sitting on it. So I guess we'll see on that front. But yeah, VF, this is the place to make the big impression. Game Awards, you have the most amount of eyes, you have the greatest impression to make. Let's hit it big. Then the game comes out. It's at the Game Awards again after it comes out because it wins Game of the Year like they said. Then we'll get some cool Game of the Year DLC because all the Expedition 33 characters will be Game of the Year buddies with the Virtua Fighter characters. And we just have a new golden age for video games. At a minimum, I expect the Game Awards this year to be very interesting. They're always interesting. Like maybe you don't love every announcement. No one's going to love every announcement, but it's always fun to watch. And for this year, just to note, I will be streaming along on the Rooflemonger Twitch channel. I always stream along with every Geoff Keighley event I have for years. And this year will be special because I'm going to be extra belligerent about this year. And every category that Expedition 33 is in, I'm just going to be throwing every other game under the bus, even if I like those games. We're looking for a Claire Obscure sweep this year. And enjoy watching my heart drop as like the annual 25-minute long Hideo Kojima masturbatory segment begins. Those are always fun. But yeah, so those are some of my thoughts on what might be appearing at the Game Awards fighting game wise. There's always like a cool game or two you're never expecting just for just gaming in general. You know, some of the biggest things you're going to enjoy are the things you didn't even know you were looking for. And that actually is legitimately always a blast. That and whatever overproduced nonsense they're going to put out. But that said, I would love to know what you guys think. What do you think is going to make it at the Game Awards? What'll debut? What are you hoping for? Please post in the comments below. And otherwise, well, I guess that is it for the video. So, thank you very much for watching. Hope this video has found you well, and go out and play some fighting games.